Hey, how you going? How you been? How's life treating you? Anyway, ever since buying this van, I've obviously had intentions to build it out and do some pretty cool shit with it. But unfortunately, with the way the lockdown is at the moment, that's not going to really happen. You know, I've drawn some stuff up and some designs up with my brother, but unfortunately we don't live together. So I haven't really made any progress on building anything inside here until today. I'm so bloody lucky and blessed that my local trail is still within my 5-kilometer radius of these new current lockdowns. So for the time being, I'm just going to knock up a really basic and simple bike rack in the back of the van. Nothing too, you know, outbreaking, and nothing too like, whoa man, like that's some real high-tech stuff. But yeah, so that's what today's video is going to be, is just me building this pretty simple front wheel bike rack to just have the bike stand up in the back of the van when we go to the trails. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna remove these little brackets and little nubs. These are gonna be the main screws that hold the timbers down. This one here, and then I don't actually have one in there. This came when I bought the van. The van was secondhand. I didn't buy brand new because brand new cars are bloody expensive. So the dude obviously had something glued there. I'm not really too sure. So I'm gonna obviously dig all that out, and then I'm just gonna use some of these spare ones that are not really doing too much out the back. They're going to be my 2 bracing points. What I'm thinking is that I'm going to just have 2 slats of timber that run, I guess, horizontal, and then I'll use 4 slats to either side to hold the front wheels of the bikes. And yeah, pretty basic little front wheel rack that is put in the back of the van, so we can just literally wheel the bikes in, put the front wheel in, and it's going to be tight enough and deep enough that the bike really can't move, and that's pretty much going to be as simple as it is. So anyway, let's measure this up, let's draw it up, and start the build. How do you do that? I got this Red Bull book. You know, I use it all the time when I'm doing stuff that's creative and like writing stuff for YouTube, just because I one day want to work on a Red Bull project, so manifest that shit. I also always write. Anyway, always write with a Sony pen. Same deal. One day, hopefully, be sponsored by Sony. You gotta manifest stuff into reality, guys. So I've got these old bed slats. They run at 1540, which is more than enough for what I need to do. So I'm gonna have 2 slats running. So I'll have 2 slats running at whatever the distance was between those 2 screws. And then I'll cut some shorter pieces like so. Keep those spread apart to make the wheel sit inside, and obviously do that the exact same thing on the other side, and yeah, it'll just be a pretty straightforward front wheel you know, bike holder, I guess. Well, hopefully, in theory it should. But anyway, let's cut these to size. These are definitely not safety glasses. In fact, I bought these with a pack of another 2 lenses of Alibaba for like $15. But yeah, probably should use safety glasses for this, guys. You know, you only get one set of eyes. You should definitely look after them. But anyway, well, I used to hate the whole idea that I had like a trade. But you know, to be honest with you guys, it's actually like been really helpful having a trade. You know, so kids out there, getting into a trade's not a bad thing. But if you don't love it, don't stay in it. That's for certain. One thing too, you know. Measure twice, cut once. Learned that one the hard way as an apprentice. Now, one thing I do have to figure out, I'm gonna have to drill the holes. Oh, I'm gonna have to drill, probably get like myself like a hole saw or something, because I don't know if you can see, but like the screw head's like the bolt is pretty big, so I'm gonna have to get like a hole saw probably. I will get these two pieces mounted down and on, then I'll have the true measurements for the other pieces, and then I can then obviously get the bikes in here, get the two pieces of timber next to it, and I am gonna have to make one side obviously bigger, seeing as the T8 does run a larger wheel than the D7, so I have to remember to keep that in mind as well. My drill, I've got a, I think the biggest I've got is a 9.5. I might have a 10 somewhere if need be. Actually, I've got a 13 too somewhere if need be. For the time being, we'll pre-drill these holes with the 6.5, and then what we will do, we'll get the hole saw out, and I reckon we'll probably use maybe like a 25mm hole saw bit, just so we can have a big enough hole that, like, you know, I can get myself a socket head onto that. I might even make it a little bit bigger depending on the socket head size, just so you can like tighten them down real easy. But anyway, we'll drill these holes out. Oh gosh, I need somebody to lean on. The bolt is a 14mm socket, and I'm gonna go with a 32mm hole saw to just knock out the top. The reason why I'm doing that is because, as you can see here, that the bolt is not long enough to go through the timber, so I'm gonna like pre-drill out halfway through this timber so the bolt can sit in and still grab down onto the thing. So we'll knock out this 32mm hole saw halfway through, get rid of some of that timber, which is gonna be an actual pain in the ass to do. If I had a speed ball, that would work so much better. I don't think I've got a speed ball, not a 32mm speed ball. Nah, hole saw it is, we'll figure it out. All right. There we go, that worked out really well. So I've bodged it out somehow, just drilling the hole saw a bit of a freaking loosey angle. And that's actually gonna work. That's definitely gonna work. All we need to do now is punch out the hole all the way through, which is big enough for this guy to go in, which I will do right now. I'm assuming maybe this is a 13 or a 14, but the thick daddy that we need for these thick bolts, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just going to be like a process of like copy and repeat to get the rest of it in, which I won't, you know, really walk you through. Maybe like a time lapse or something. I don't really know. All right, a couple things. First, on a bad note, I was time-lapsing with the GoPro, and come on, I've actually scratched the max lens, which is extremely disappointing. Both the front slats are in. I do have a bit of an issue with this one on the side here. I'm fairly sure that the actual thread for the bolt is cooked, because they filled it with this like Sika foam or whatever expander foam, and it's like ruined the thread. And I've put that in, and I'm fairly certain it's actually not tight, but at the same time it's not going anywhere, so for the time being that works for me. I've measured the distances that I need to cut for the wheel slats, which is going to be about 560. So I'll go cut those now. This is pretty much the end result, I guess. I haven't mounted these planks down yet. I'm just trying to figure out what the best way to do it is. I can obviously get some like screws and sort of screw on a weird angle in, but I don't know how well that's going to work, and I don't know how good the screws are that I have to do that. So I'm thinking I might cut little like 100mm blocks and sort of screw them in and then screw them down either side. I think that's probably going to be the best way to go about it, rather than screwing just on a diagonal angle into the timber. So I've got some offcuts left from this stuff, from the slats. So I'm going to cut them, I think, the best way to go about it. And this is obviously a completely uneducated guess. Like, don't get me wrong, I do have my electrical license. I am a licensed sparky, but haven't been on the tools for a bit. So I'm sort of just figuring it out on the way. But I think that's like the basic of how it's going to go. And then you'll be able to just wheel the bikes in, push them in, and that should be enough to hold the front wheel, and they shouldn't move while we're driving. I should actually seek out some actual professional advice here. So I'm going to FaceTime the great big Moose for all your carpentry needs. Moose Construction. Got a quick one for you, bro. First of all, shout out to the video.
Big Moose in the hoose.
Anyway, after consulting the Moose and also my younger brother and getting the bikes in, the best way to do it is to mark out the brackets. Should I say the slats? Remove the braces and then drill from the bottom down. Currently got both bikes in. I've sort of got like a bit of a mark on the line here of where I want the wheel to go, the front wheels to go. So I'm now going to take both bikes out, remove the slats, mark them up, drill it in, remount it in, and I guess hope for the best. I need to 100% make sure that I make these really snug so the bikes don't move too much. I'm hoping they don't move too much. Yeah, hoping. Pre-drilled hole. Now I just need to square this up as best as I can, like so. Now that I've got those first couple down, the next thing is pretty much just making sure that whatever I do here is super tight on the front wheel, because like the thing that's going to make this work is that the front wheel is tight. The front wheel has to be tight. The tires on the D7 are about 60mm wide, and the tires on the T8 are about 70mm wide. So I'm going to make the gap between these slats 5mm shorter, hoping that that's snug enough for the bikes not to move. Hoping. Mistake me if I'm wrong, but that's 2 bikes in a bike rack that aren't falling over. I think we might be onto something here, guys. I think we might have pulled through for the gold here. Now, there's probably 6 million other ways you could do this that are obviously better as well, but look, I don't care. I don't care. I'm simply just being a bored guy at home in lockdown, just trying to make a bike rack out of some bed slats. So before anyone in the comment section is like, oh, you should have done this, oh, you should have done that. I appreciate you wanting to give me your opinion, but I do not want it. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we have a pretty well knocked up little bike rack. How good is that? 2 bikes fully standing up inside the van. The only test left to do is the drive. It's getting dark right now, but tomorrow morning I'm gonna go film another different YouTube video and we'll see how it goes. Yo, how we going? Obviously the next day in this video, got 2 bikes in the back, even though I'm going to go ride on my own, just purely to test and see how it sort of goes. Yeah, there's nothing strapped down or keeping them together. They're just purely sitting inside the rack little mount I made. So we're gonna drive to the trails. We're gonna see if they shake around too much. And you know, worst comes to worst, if I have to maybe put like an ocky strap between them, like I'm totally fine with that. So yeah, both bikes are in. Let's head to the trails. It's actually a really nice sunny day, but it is still a bit cold. So yeah, and I need to go film this other YouTube video that you guys will see soon. But yeah, so let's drive to the trails. I'm here, and if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, oh, you can see that dirty scratch mark right there. Anyway, if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, they didn't move at all. They did not move at all. Now, you know, obviously the trail isn't too far from my place, but besides a little bit of like shaking left to right, which, you know, if I really wanted to, like I said, I could just chuck an ocky strap on, and we'd be like sweet. So I'm gonna go ahead and say mission accomplished. Mission accomplished on quite possibly the cheapest, little bike rack for the back of the van for the time being until I properly build this thing out. So yeah, sick, cool, great success. If you did like this video, be sure to leave it a like, maybe subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, I do obviously make mountain biking content, a lot of other action sports usually, but with the way the world is at the moment, I sort of can't. I'm obviously a big fan of cameras and everything else in between, seeing as I do run my own production company, which is also having a massive, taking a massive hit at the moment, but you know, we continue to move forward. So yeah, maybe subscribe. Anyway, I'm gonna go start filming the next YouTube video, which will come out, I don't know, in a couple of days time. But yeah, hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Yeah, I've made a mistake. I had the slats around the wrong way, so that's irritating. And now these screws are threaded as hell, so I should have just done the blocks.